All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Showtime.
Welcome to episode 1152 of the Geek News Central podcast. It's Thursday, October 6th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider or just paypal.me/geeknews. You can always pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. Hey, I want to give a very warm welcome to the Ohana. I've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about Made by Google, Twitter, no sale, Blue Origin, and some incredible space shot, test shot that they did. We're going to be talking about a 12-year-old that got a $100,000 bill from Google. We'll talk about that. But first and foremost, I want to welcome brand new listeners to the show. Thank you for being here. Of course, I already gave a warm welcome to all the longtime listeners and folks that are part of the Ohana, part of the family. Those of you brand new listeners to the show, you have joined an exclusive club here. I want to thank you for tuning in. You're part of a fraternity of a massive audience, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you've tuned in. Hey, what you need to do, though, it's very, very important in order to get connected and stay aligned here. The most important thing you can do right now while you're listening to my voice is on your mobile phone or on your desktop, whatever it may be. You need to go over to geeknewscentral.com, and when you're around the web page, you're going to see right on the right-hand column or a little bit further down if you're on mobile how to subscribe to the podcast. Do it via iTunes, via Android. You can even subscribe by email if you want to get the show that way, on Google Play, on Stitcher, on TuneIn. There's literally a dozen ways to get subscribed to the show, and you're all listening from all across the planet on a variety of different devices. Main thing is get subscribed. That way you get the show delivered automatically to you. And a little bit further down the page is a link to the newsletter. The newsletter will contain everything that I talk about in the show today. It's basically a cut and paste from the blog post, and it basically gives you all the information you need to follow the links as you listen to the show, or just a simple reminder that there's a new show available so that you can go grab it and listen to it at your leisure. Most importantly, hey, if you want to send comments into the show, you can do so via geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter @geeknews. You can join our Slack channel by sending an email to me, and I've got someone actually had a couple people added to Slack the last show. So feel free to send an email, join the Slack channel, and hang out with us. You can follow on Google Plus, on Facebook by searching for Todd Cochran. So you can get the show, like I said, everywhere. You can watch the show on the Roku via the Tech Podcast channel. You can listen or watch on the Apple TV. You can listen on the Amazon Echo by telling Alexa to play the latest edition of this show. Of course, you can listen on Stitcher, watch or listen on Blueberry.com. Partner shows, and boy, do we have some great partner shows that I want you to get subscribed to. Of course, we've got the new media show, which is Rob Greenlee and I do every Saturday that I'm in Honolulu. This time around, it'll probably be done while I'm on the East Coast. I'll talk a little bit about why. We've got the Pro Gear site at progear.guru. We've got the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain. We've got Health Tech Weekly with Jamie Davis. We've got No Better Than Average with Jacob and Jeff. And, of course, my brand new show, Podcast Legends, at podcastlegends.com. Definitely check all the shows out and give them a listen. But this show is the most important show we want you to subscribe to, of course. And this show would not be possible without our sponsor, GoDaddy.com. And, of course, you can find all of our great deals, everything that is available to you to save just an insane amount of money, is by going over to geeknewscentral.com GNCMade.com/GoDaddy. If I can get the page loaded here for you to check out. And it has all of our deals. Oops, I think I did it right that time. All of our October specials are holdovers from September, and of course we want you to take a note of those. There's a discounts on new product purchases. There are 99cent.coms. There's a GoDaddy website builder offers. There's economy hosting, managed WordPress hosting. All the promo codes are on the website, including the details about the offers. Make sure that when you click through to GoDaddy, or if you use the promo code when you actually enter it at checkout, that you look at the actual limitations of the offer and understand what will happen when the trial or the offer expires. So definitely check that out. We want to thank GoDaddy for being an ongoing sponsor here at the show. 11 plus years. And I would just be straight up. Thank you, everyone, for your ongoing support. We had a great September, and as I expected, it was fantastic. You all have done a great job sharing the codes, promoting the promo code page with your friends, family members, people that you know. Just keep it up. Keep doing that, and just let people know. I know many of you have gotten, over the years, have gotten GoDaddy products and services, and you continue to renew or buy, but definitely share my codes and the page with people that you know. You hear anyone talking about getting a website, you hear anyone talking about getting a domain, say, I got a website for you to go to save money, and supporting a great podcast. So definitely check it out, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. That's the place to go to save and get all the great GoDaddy products and services. Again, thank you, GoDaddy, for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. Okay, so let me go ahead and just go through my short stack of stuff tonight that I have. Those of you that have joined via Facebook, welcome. Those of you that have jumped on via YouTube, which, we got some folks on there as well. Thank you for joining live tonight. It is greatly appreciated. I got a late start. Late start. I'm nearly an hour late in starting the show tonight. My son had soccer, so we didn't leave town until 6:30. Of course, the show normally starts at 8 here. I got home in plenty time, and I actually was really ready to pull the trigger about 8:15, but I had a real important email I had to send out before I started the show. It took me 20 minutes or so to get that typed up and sent. So late start here. So yes, I'm powered up with a Metalluca Power Shot, and it's not an endorsement, but they work really, really well. So ready to go. No more Red Bull. We're not doing Red Bull here anymore. I mean, once in a blue moon. Sometimes when I travel, I have one, but not the slam downwards that you get from Red Bull with the Metalluca Power Shots. But hey, so the travel is on. I'll be flying out, and then next week there will be a road show from the East Coast, and so both Monday and Thursday show. Thursday, I'm a little bit worried about. Monday, I have no concern about getting that show out to you. Thursday, we'll see. If I feel like it's going to be hard for me to punch it out, I'm going to I'll make an effort to have a guest host stand in. I'll let you know on that. Also, just from a programming standpoint, I'm going to be in Columbus to our headquarters the week of October 24th. I actually get in there on the 25th. I'll be there for a meetup. So if you're in Ohio and you're in Columbus or Cincinnati, for you within striking distance, Tuesday the 25th, we have a meetup in Columbus, and basically at our headquarters for podcasters to come in. So I'll be there. I think Mike Dell's going to be there as well, our tech support team guy. So good opportunity for podcasters to come in. So, the travel that week's going to be a little weird, going into Michigan a few days early, then driving down to Columbus, but be there all week, and then back to Honolulu on the 29th. But again, if you're within striking distance, or if you just can't make it that Tuesday and still want to hook up and talk, and I'll be in the office all week of the 24th, 25th is when I come in. So I'll just let you know that. But anyway, that's what's going on for basically my schedule. I will say this: I'm not ignoring those of you that have sent me emails being interested in being the assistant that I'm looking to hire. I got to get through a couple of things next week to make sure that everything is going to be stable from just a longevity standpoint. I got to get through a couple of meetings there, and then I'll probably pull the trigger. No worries. Just want to make sure we're having some meetings with some folks, and nothing's happening here. We're all good, but just got to look at the ongoing revenue of the show and make sure that it all works out. It's going to be good. I don't have anything to worry, but just want to let you know that I'm holding off just a few days from doing that. But anyway, that's what's happening. And I'm glad you guys are here. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Don't forget to get over to geeknewscentral.com. All the great content that's being put. I put up some reviews. I actually wrote a couple of articles just before we get into the full stack. I talked about an XL USB-C to USB-A adapter. Talked about a Tamrac Hoodoo 18 camera day pack. Talked about a Lofttech LED RGB floodlight. This is kind of an interesting product. This is definitely designed for someone that has maybe wants to do a light feature in their yard or around their pool, just to give some a little different color and ambiance. Prices right on these things, $66. They're not bad. I always tell people, if you're looking to make some mood settings or have some, do something for your entertainment area, buy one and give it a try. At $66, you can't beat it. So anyway, again, Lofttech LED RGB floodlight. Got that here. But anyway, that's the last few articles that's been on Geek News Central, and definitely get over there to check them out. Of course, the album art tonight up on the video is provided by one of our Super Ohana, Sam Garcia, out of Albuquerque. If you want to submit album art for the show, I always love to take it. 3,000 by 3,000 is the image size that I'd like. And also make sure when you're making album art that you squeeze it down so it looks good at like 600 by 600. That's kind of a guideline. It's great to design it big, but make sure when you squeeze down, you can still read it. But send me your album art if you have some that you want to contribute to the show to geeknews at gmail.com. All right, so let me go ahead and close up all these extra links. And let me go ahead and YouTube's up and live and running still good. Everything's rocking there. And let me bring up the article that I'm going to start out with tonight. Wow. I think Google surprised me a little bit because they came out with this madeby.google.com website. And while what they have announced wasn't necessarily out of the expectation of what we had talked about before, they had actually, made their product announcement. I think that we can safely say that at this point, Google is trying to, basically do like Apple has done. And I think this is just the beginning. We talked about some mobile vendors that really, quite frankly, blew it. They had an opportunity here to be the vendor, but it didn't work out. And so now Google's making it their own phone. They're making their own hardware. They're making their own VR headset. They're making their own router. They've updated the Chromecast to be 4K. The Pixel phone by Google is available for pre-order. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things that I discovered today that you should know about. The Home by Google, I've already put my pre-order in. I've got, I ordered it immediately so that as soon as the announcement came out, $129. I picked one of that up. Of course, the VR headset, I joined the wait list on that. Wi-Fi by Google, joined the wait list. And, of course, the streaming by Google is not going to be available until the new Chromecast is not going to be available for order, I'm hearing, until November. But, this is a start to a nice ecosystem. And the Pixel phone, if I was in the market for a phone right now, I might try it. And here's the reason why. Google's controlling the ecosphere on this. And so long as you buy the phone from Google, this is the important thing. If you buy the phone from Google, my understanding is, and there's a little bit of clarification I need to find out, that Google will be in control of the updates. But I heard if you buy the phone from Verizon, so if you buy a Google Pixel or Pixel XL from Verizon Wireless, if you go to the store and buy it, you're going to be at the mercy of the carrier when it comes to future Android updates. Google's confirmed that Verizon will be in charge of delivering Android software updates to all Pixel phones. The key word here is that it sells. That includes units purchased from Best Buy, since the popular electronics store is carrying Verizon Pixel models and not an unlocked version of the phone by Google. For Pixels purchased from the Google store, Google will handle the updates itself. This is critical. Don't buy the phone from Verizon. Buy the phone from Google. Okay? Google will handle the updates to the device themselves, which means that you're going to get monthly security updates from Google if you buy it from them. You don't know if you're going to get it from Verizon. They're going to roll updates out. This, in my opinion, is a stupid move by Verizon, that they have decided to do this. So Google is taking control of one key area, security. Both the unlocked and Verizon variants, I guess, will get the security updates, but not necessarily the version updates. So that's good. Now you're going to be able to, if you want to go to Verizon, you can. Rogers, T-Mobile. If you want to go Best Buy, Google Store. If you overseas, Telstra, Chroma, Reliance Digital, Flipkart, are all going to be selling these, these phones. So just be aware, okay? Depending on where you pick one up. Now, if you can probably have to pay cash for the one you buy from Google, but it's going to be unlocked. And then you can go to the carrier and get it turned on and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see what happens here with this. I really think Google is smart. And I really, to be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised that they decided to go their own way to build their own phones. But in retrospect, I'm thinking, well, we're pretty stupid to not even consider they would do that. So, they've always contracted it to a third party. But this is an in-house build, and it has the highest rated smartphone camera ever. Again, you're going to have unlimited storage for photos and videos if you buy from Google. This is big. This is big, 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 big. So can't wait to see one. Really can't. But that's, the initial first amazing news. The next amazing news is Twitter. Oh, my God. Twitter is stock is down. If you're pro Twitter, this might be the time to buy because Twitter basically has gotten, the suitors are walking away. Twitter was supposedly talking to Apple, Disney, Google, Salesforce, but based on new reports from REcode and CNBC, it sounds like none of those companies are interested in buying the social network. It appears that only Salesforce may be the only company still in discussions with Twitter. I think about this for a little bit. Think about the pile of cash Apple has, Facebook has, Google has. These companies have billions of dollars in the bank. I mean, they're flush. They can pay down the debt. That's how flush they are with cash. And they walked away. Disney, Disney is ESPN, and it's big. So they've all walked away. I almost forgot. Oh my God, the Ohana in Florida and Georgia and North Carolina and South Carolina. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's every time I look at the weather.com channel, my jaw drops a little bit. I know many of you are already without power. You're listening to this show maybe a week or 2 weeks later, and the storm has come and went. You've maybe just gotten power back, or you may be on your last breath for energy. Man, I went 37 days without power after Typhoon Omar. You can do a Google on that, and that was an incredible super typhoon. As I've said many times, the weather propeller departed the weather station roof at 187 miles per hour. That's where the number was stuck. And that storm just howled. I mean, it was I was in a concrete building for the first half of the storm, and about 18 inches water with electricity still on, and underwater cables in a computer room. Oh man, talk about being worried about and running a generator, worried about getting electrocuted. It was crazy. And then the second part of the storm, I was actually in a hangar where we lost part of the roof. It was insane. My coworker was at home, and we had 8 or 9 inches of water just running through the house like a river with the doors closed. My bedroom window was 75 feet from the Pacific Ocean, and as I've said many times on this show, in Guam, all of us had coffee cans where we could lift all our furniture up and stick coffee cans underneath it to keep the furniture off the floor, so that as the water flooded in, we hopefully didn't get high enough to ruin the furniture. And I never got my furniture soaked, but is nothing more weird. Well, I'll tell you what was really strange. The storm kind of started to subside, and I was able to go back to the original building that I was in. I was in the Navy at the time, and I went back to the building, and there was water. I mean, like 12 inches of water in the building. And this is like 24, 30 hours later. I'm exhausted. There was a couch that was above the water line, and I took my boots off, and I just left my boots in the water. I went to sleep, and it was nothing more weird than waking up 6 hours later with my boots thoroughly soaked all the way through and putting them back on. It was horrible. It really, really was. But I understand what it's like to be flooded out, and I know some of you are going to be going through that tonight and tomorrow, and I've got friends in Jacksonville, Florida, and of course my daughter's far enough out where she's not affected. She's in Tampa. She's just going to get wet. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be a big one. And thoughts and prayers are with all the folks out there that are have this massive storm breathing down on them with all the water and wind and everything that's a coming or is there. Okay, switching up gears here, let's talk about Blue Origin. Incredible video. If you haven't seen this video, you have absolutely got to see it. For those of you that are watching tonight, that are available, or those of you that are watching right now, tomorrow or the next day, they tested their escape system. So they launched the spacecraft, and they got to 40,000 feet, and they initiated the abort sequence. And, this thing's already full power. This is on its way to orbit. Matter of fact, the rocket itself went to 120-some thousand feet before returning and landing, just on a dime. But the actual launch, and this is the picture that's up right now, shows the actual escape mechanism. Speed was already 476 miles per hour when they punched out. But what amazed me is so you think you light a rocket on top of a rocket. What's going to happen? The rocket below it's going to go boom, right? Oh, no. This thing, something out of from some movie, continues unabated. and it continues to go to orbit. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I couldn't believe it. I'm just sitting here with that was what was so astounding, was the crew compartment escaped, and yet the rocket is like, oh, okay, I lighten my load. We got to go. And what it really ultimately, they actually had to throttle back the rocket, because all of a sudden we got a lot less weight. They were going to be too high of an orbit, so they actually had to pull the throttle back. But ultimately, they brought it right back to their West Texas location, landed it, and I mean, holy cow! Good job, Blue Origin, and but amazing. Space is exciting again. What these folks are, what SpaceX is doing, what Blue Origin's doing, wow! I mean, really cool. So, anyway, Jeff Bezos having a cocktail. But exciting stuff. And when you see the video, if you don't get excited, I'm sorry, you're not a geek. You're not a geek. It's your Greek cred has to be taken away. If you haven't watched it, you got to watch it, and you're going to be like, that is awesome, absolutely awesome. Well, were you on Spotify today? Well, apparently Spotify just over the couple past days have been serving up a little more than tunes. They've been serving up some malvertising as well. Yes, some malware embedded in advertising. So be careful if you've been on Spotify and you need to do a quick look at your system, run your antivirus software. They said they shut it down, but they had a malware attack. And just remember, malware may not be detected by your antivirus. You have to run malware detection software. Okay, I run both. I run Malwarebytes, and I also run Norton Semantic. So I have both of those running all the time. Not on just my PC either. I have protection on my Macs, because as we're going to talk about a little later, there's been some new ways to attack Macs. Hey, Electronic Frontier Foundation is talking about shadow regulation. It talks about the backroom threat to digital rights. And they are basically calling out stuff that's being put into law and practices that are being established between individual companies and the government, or even examples of agreements between copyright holders and internet companies. All this stuff that is happening out there that's, where the copyright holders have the power to delete your fair use content. It just goes on and on and on. So they've got a information page, and they're going to be doing a series about backroom threat to digital rights called Shadow Regulation. So I'll have that linked up in the show notes. And this is more stuff we're going to have to keep watching on, because now that ICANN is moved, we're going to have to see what happens. If more sites start getting taken down, or some sort of First Amendment rights, or if the freedom of speech is curtailed in certain countries, and if it increases because of the change to the domain name registry. So anyway, link will be up in the show notes on this article from the EFF. All right, moms and dads, got any young kids? I've got a 12-year-old here, and he's being very aggressive and trying to create YouTube videos, and I'm having conversations with him, giving him some guidance. He did a demo video on a monitor I had, telling people how to set up a monitor, and I talked about his, I'm just trying to get him squared away. But a boy in Spain is, and I think this is £100,000 bill from Google. No, 100,000 euro bill from Google after confusing AdWords and AdSense. Jose Javier, 12 signed up for Google AdWords program in order to make money from advertisements placed alongside YouTube videos of his band. Well, unfortunately, the young musician was buying ads. He thought he was making all kinds of money until he started getting bills. Well, Google has basically forgiven the charges. The father is skeptical that his son, the father actually said, we're not sure if he knew what he was doing or not. So the father is a little bit concerned his son may have, said he didn't know the difference between AdWords and AdSense. But they were, they're getting ready to hire a lawyer, but Google basically has forgiven the charges. And how do you roll up 100? I do Google AdWords from time to time. If we have a competitor that is pushing a little too hard on some of our stuff, I will, run some AdWords against them, just to, especially if they're running ads, and so you're going to run ads against me. I'm going to make you pay for those ads. You're not going to get away with a 30 cents click. It's going to cost you $2 or $3 a click. So sometimes I do it as a preventive measure, and it has varied success. So anyway, imagine that, being a parent getting that bill. Why did they continue to rack up the charges when they couldn't charge or suck any more money out of his bank account? That's a question I have. Hey, there's some concerning changes going over at BitTorrent. BitTorrent has had a big interest in making it easy for creators to distribute and sell music and films. And if you remember right, we used to distribute podcasts via BitTorrent years and years ago. But it looks like that initiative might have just ground to a screeching halt. Variety is reporting that the company has fired, I don't know how you have two CEOs, and they've laid off an unknown number of staffers and shutting down BitTorrent now, which is surprising. That's a recently launched ad-supported video and music streaming platform. If this is all true, this could make for some dramatic changes going on over at BitTorrent. I've talked with the BitTorrent team a number of times. We've tested some of their video streaming stuff before, and it worked so. But I don't think they ever just got the momentum. But CFO Deepak Joshi has been apparently installed as the interim CEO, and we'll see what happens here. But lots of turmoil over in the BitTorrent house. I've got a stack of stuff tonight. Some of the stuff I'm going to go through today is going to be quick. So just if you want more information on those articles that I just banged through, just keep that in mind. But if you've got a League of Legends player in your house, which I do here, I've got a legend here. Ha, ha, ha. League of Legends is going to finally be getting replays, so they'll have more time to spend on the stupid game. They'll be playing, and then they'll be watching what they did. So that's up. Also, this is new. This is good. So, if you're getting to the point where you're getting ready to look for a job, sometimes you want to do that without your employer fully knowing that. So LinkedIn will now let you discreetly single when you're looking for a job. So that's kind of cool. So, you want to put yourself on the market? You can do so. And there's a way to do that by making it kind of apparent to recruiters, but not to let your boss know, I guess. It's called Open Candidates, as a new feature is called. We'll let those users essentially create a signal that will view only to recruiters who use LinkedIn's paid tier of services. The price of that begin at $8,000 and vary depending on the number of licenses. So in turn, those recruiters who are looking for candidates like that person will get a signal that a particular candidate is looking to change jobs. So most businesses aren't going to pay that $8,000 to keep an eye on if their employees are looking for a job. So this is initially available in U.S., Canada, U.K., and Australia, and will get rolled out to more markets throughout this year. That's awesome. So you can kind of hide that you're looking for a job. All right. I already talked about that. Oh, Netflix. Netflix just took another step towards getting its films into theaters. They have made a deal where some of Netflix original movies will debut, and they've signed an agreement with theater chain iPic Entertainment that will give same-day theaters release to a portion of Netflix films. The deal includes 10 of Netflix upcoming movies, including The Siege, and Christopher's guest-directed comedy Mascots. So I'm not familiar with iPic, but they're apparently a small luxury theater company. Wall Street Journal says the theaters offer lobster rolls. Oh, I've never been to a movie theater that have that kind of menu. It's usually pretty crappy popcorn. You can also get yeah, this is not going to be cheap. Monogram blankets for certain members. With just 15 outposts around the country, Netflix films will screen in New York, Los Angeles. So what does it cost to go to a movie theater? We'll give you a monogrammed blanket as part of your entrance fee. Not the movie theater you and I are going to go to. Yes, the movie theaters for the rich and famous. You know, I want to own one of those. That's the movie theater to own, right? You know, you cater to the rich that have nothing better to do but to go to a movie where they're paying a huge amount of money to get a monogrammed blanket and lobster rolls as part of their snack at their seat as they watch the movie. I wonder. Oh my God! Please tell if anyone's ever been to one of these movie theaters. Please tell me what it costs, and I'll be promised I won't out you. And it sure sounds a little snobbish to me, but you know, I'm just a country boy at heart, right? All right, on the geeky side here, Stripe has acquired team behind NoSQL database. Oh, that's interesting. So, Rethink DB is ending days of speculation and forums about the company's future. Rethink DB itself is closing its doors, citing difficulty in building a sustainable business. Both its namesake's projects and its real-time JavaScript backend project called Horizon will be open sourced. So Stripe has acquired the programming team. So that's other open source NoSQL databases are available in space, but Rethink DB sought to differentiate itself from the well-funded database startup, of course, MongoDB. Like MongoDB, Rethink DB stores data in JSON documents, but it uses the Rethink DB query language. So, well, there's going to be some code coming on the market here for those of you that love open source. All right, a little bit more on the hurricane. The Cape is really worried. At Cape Canaveral, you know, there's not a lot between it and, 5 feet of water over launch pads. And the last time that there was a hurricane that came through did millions of dollars of damage to the Cape, along with the launch facilities and so forth. We actually talked about that many years ago on this show. Talked about a hurricane that had went through and damaged the Cape Canaveral. So that tells you how long this show's been going here. We can, it's been a long time since the east coast of Florida's gotten whacked like this. Sad news. Researchers out of New York, Albert Einstein College of Medicine, believe that the goal of living forever is an impossible one. A team of researchers analyzed mortality rates and aging trends across the world and found that there may be a ceiling to our lifespan. Until they're able to download us, of course. Popular belief may be that humans could live longer if they remain in good health. It appears that the best we can hope for is 115 years. Which should give you just enough time here to finish up cleaning the garage. Let's be honest, 115 years, if you can be of sound mind and body, fantastic. But at 115, most people have either lost their mind or lost their body. Very few people that make it to the ripe age of 105, 106 have both. And God bless the ones that do. And, I have a family of long-lived, 99, 100 years old. My grandparents on my dad's side lived into their 90s. So, good genes help you get part of the way there. And, my family's all a bunch of beer drinkers and meat eaters. So, it's not like any of them were, living in an outstanding healthy lifestyle. But, 115 is what they say is. But you know what? Science is changing. We'll see what they can do with that. All right, the DJI Maverick got one coming. And looking forward to being able to talk about it. But what I'm more excited about is a product that is not available yet, is the DJI goggles. This is going to be something that, my biggest challenge in flying drones is that in bright sunlight, it is an absolute pain, unless you have a hood, to be able to really monitor where your drone is. Now, you're not supposed to, according to the FAA, you're not supposed to fly you're supposed to keep the drone in visual sight. In other words, you have to have someone with you if you're going to be on the the VR headset or the goggles. You have to have someone there with you that can actually keep an actual eyeball on a drone. But I can't wait for this. I can't wait for these VR headsets to become available from DJI. I'm definitely going to order one, because in the bright sun in Hawaii, man, oh man, is it hard? Is it hard to fly and see the screen without having some sort of hood? And it just looks weird, because then you're kind of like bent over and with your head stuffed in a hood, and not fun. It gets hot. So looking forward to these these goggles that they're going to come up with. It's going to be very, very, very exciting. Okay, next article up. Someone from Britain is going to have to explain this. A businessman from Essex, UK, has been jailed for 6 years for claiming back sales tax on computer memory sold overseas. An exception also known as carousel fraud. Somehow this guy was shipped in empty boxes to UAE and then claiming back sales tax. How is that done? What is that? Back sales tax. In other words, he claimed he was paying sales tax, and he claimed. I don't understand that. So someone in the UK, tell me how this works. Because in the United States, if I sell something, okay, here in Hawaii, if I sell, let's say this remote control, and I sell it for $5, then, part of my retail business, I have to send the state of Hawaii the sales tax on this. So if I sell, though, to, even if I sell to someone outside of the state, I'm still supposed to collect, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he said he paid sales tax, but he didn't, and he tried to get it. I don't understand how he could have got money back. That's the main thing. But anyway, if anyone knows how this fraud works, I'd love to hear. But anyway, he was able to get 4.75 million pounds out of the UK government, and for his actions, he's got 6 years in a slammer, and all of his property and everything forfeited. So it backfired on him. But I just don't understand how this scam works. It sounds like he got too greedy and got caught, but I wonder if there's more people doing that. All right, Snapchat is no longer Snapchat, it's Snap. Snap is reportedly preparing for an IPO that could value it at $25 billion. So Snapchat is no longer Snapchat, it's Snap. So I wonder if they were able to secure the snap.com domain. I wonder how much they paid for that. There's a class action lawsuit going forward at Google. Well, it appears that Google is being sued for age discrimination. If you're over 40, yes, 40, yes, I'm going to say that again. If you're over 40, it appears, at least according to this lawsuit, very hard to get a job at Google if you're over 40. So is 40 the new 50? Because that's what it is right now. Anyone over 50, you're kind of screwed. You go in and, they're not supposed to discriminate, but, companies are asking for your college graduation dates and all that stuff. So, that's how they figure out how old you are. without, they're not supposed to ask. You're actually, during an interview, you can't ask. But, that's why people are paying for liposuction, and they're getting their face lifted and, getting a fresh haircut and, trying to look younger. But apparently at Google, that's not working out so well. And plaintiffs allege that Google's engaged in a systematic pattern of practice discriminating against individuals who are 40 and older. Don't ever get it. I really don't. If you are sensitive to foul language, I'm going to recommend that you don't read this article, but it's an actual cartoon of an actual reenactment of an insane court hearing. It's the actual words said in the court, and when you listen to this 11 minutes and 14-second dialogue, you're going to say, how is this possible? I will say this: a convict and a judge lost their mind and basically spent 10 minutes insulting each other. The judge won because he put him in jail for 10 years for contempt of court. The guy was in for murder, so he probably ended up with more than that. But I listened to it and was astonished. All right, the feds have charged alleged PudaCorp and Lizard Squad denial of service attackers. 2 members of the hacking group Lizard Squads and PudaCorp were charged yesterday with conspiring to cause damage to protected computers. The U.S. Attorney Office of Northern District of Illinois says statement both hacking groups have taken credit for temporarily bringing down online gaming services Xbox Live, PSN, Battle.net, and more. Both Zachary Bukta and Bradley Van Roy, both 19, have been arrested, respectively, in Maryland and the Netherlands. And so they're in the slammer, and extradition hearings going on to get the one guy in the Netherlands to the United States, but the court proceedings will commence with the individual out of Maryland. So they were running a cyber attack for hire services and a variety of other things. So we'll see what happens with these two. Google's self-driving car has crashed, sending operator to the hospital. Self-driving cars will probably make the world a better place at some point, but in a monthly report on self-driving cars published today, Google announced one of its autonomous vehicles involved in a collision last month that was so bad the human operator inside the vehicle was sent to the hospital. He was released with no injuries, but they did send him to had checked out. The image of the vehicle is he got T-boned. A pretty good T-bone, too. So, anyway, they basically said that the Google report said, a self-driving car was passing through a green light at 22 miles per hour when it was struck by a commercial van running a red light about 30 miles per hour. I'm going to tell you one thing about commercial vehicles and wrecks. If you have a commercial vehicle or commercial vehicles, you had best make sure you got good insurance. Because every time I hear someone that has been in a wreck involving a commercial vehicle hitting them, automatic lawsuit, because people think that the commercial company has a lot of money, they can get a lot of cash out of them. So I don't think Google will go back and sue this company, but anytime that's why people need to make sure that commercial drivers are licensed and have a good safety record. There's a good write-up on the Register, and for those of you that are really super geeks, if you want to see the sequence of events that led to a blackout in South Australia, there's a good write-up of a sequence of events that led to it. How long did it take from the time the sequence of events started to when a total blackout happened? Well, 43 seconds in total, but actually things cascaded at the minus 18-second mark. And it just talks about a series of events that just bam, 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 and took South Australia into a complete blackout with over a huge swath of area that was out of power. But it just talks about how transmission lines and everything like that feed our insatiable appetite of electricity, and how it can come falling down so very carefully. There's a cool video on Sploid that basically zooms on a FedEx aircraft at about 40,000 feet and then zooms all the way out. And I have no idea what kind of a camera they were using, but it had a 200 times zoom. And you can actually see, the FedEx aircraft. You can see the logo and everything else, but when they zoom all the way back, you can't even see it with the naked eye. So link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. It is pretty awesome. They go into detail in it on the YouTube video. Also, if you want to know what happened in the last moments before the ICANN transfer, court transcripts are available and the maneuvering that took place. If you're interested to see how that went down, I'll have that linked up in the show notes for you to check out. Also, the tides are turning. A prominent pro-patent judge has issued an opinion declaring all software patents dead. We all know that the Supreme Court made a ruling a few years ago that basically really put a lot of pressure. It was Alice was the ruling that put a lot of pressure on software-based patents. And really what it was is the Supreme Court really never said they should be outlawed, but kind of set an initial light precedent. But it's been backed up now by some circuit court judges, and one specifically who in the 80s was actually the chief judge when the CAFC was at its worst in terms of expanding patent law. And he's the guy that basically said that this is basically a First Amendment issue. The judge pointed out that the First Amendment says that such patents should not be allowed. The whole occurrence is worth reading. But here's the Constitution protects the right to receive information and ideas. This right to receive information and ideas, regardless of their social worth, is fundamental to our free society. Patents, which function as government-sanctioned monopolies, invade core First Amendment rights when they are allowed to obstruct the essential channels of scientific, economic, and political discourse. So it all tied back to creating code is essential, and development of new ideas is essential to our to the ongoing free speech rights. And just as an idea, expression, and the fair use defense serve to keep copyright protection from abridging free speech rights, restrictions on subject matter eligibility can be used to keep patent protection within constitutional bounds. Section 101 creates a patent-free zone and places within it indispensable instruments of social, economic, and scientific endeavor. Section 101, if properly applied, can preserve the Internet's open infrastructure and weed out those patents that chill political expression and impermissibility obstruct the marketplace of ideas. The judge recognized that the Supreme Court outlawed patents, software patents with Alice. So this is big. This is a big win. And actually what it was is a lawsuit brought by one of the world's largest patent trolls, Intellectual Ventures, caused this Court of Appeal results to be posted. And this is huge. This is really, really big and sets significant precedents for ongoing litigation in the software side. It's really good, and it should stop some of these stupid patent lawsuits, because now patent defenders are not patent defendants. People that are being trolls have a much higher standard to beat. Hey, Nissan Versa under federal investigation for inadvertently airbag deployment. So if you have a Nissan Versa, just be aware that it's being looked at. And if this investigation becomes a recall of the 2012 Versa, could potentially affect 155,000 vehicles. All right? Did you know a Verizon worker can be fired for repairing a copper line? I didn't even know that this was something new. Anyone that has this, please tell me about it. VoiceLink? Apparently it's a wireless telephone service that if a technician, if you have a Verizon telephone, a wired telephone in your home, their responsibility is to, number one, they're not even supposed to look at the line, the copper line. They're supposed to check and see if your address is eligible for VoiceLink. If it is, they're supposed to convert people to VoiceLink versus fixing the copper wire. there's a proof of this in a write-up a Verizon employee got for actually fixing a copper wire when he wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to convert a customer to VoiceLink, but that's amazing. The memo above is dated September 20th. Instructs technicians how they're to handle VoiceLink migration opportunities. It notes that Verizon will migrate as many customers as possible to its wireless VoiceLink service. It states that VoiceLink must be the first option if the customer qualifies, and that failure to follow this directive may result in disciplinary action up into including dismissal. So here's what this really is doing. VoiceLink is a voice-only wireless service that doesn't allow for DSL, doesn't support security alarms or pacemakers the way copper lines do. Moving customers away from copper is something the FCC is broadly sanctioned, though it requires tele companies to seek permission before shutting down copper networks. There are multiple advantages to Verizon moving away from copper. Not only is infrastructure cheaper, IP-based networks don't carry the same minimum service guarantees as POT lines, and Verizon faces far fewer regulations as a wireless company than its old landline business was subject to. Moving customers in a rural or poor areas away from copper has other preferred benefits for Verizon as well. It can nudge those customers towards wireless data plans with extremely expensive per gigabit data caps rather than offering them comparative inexpensive DSL service or even Fios. It goes without saying, which isn't available in many markets. This is very naughty of Verizon. I would tell them, no, I'm not converting. Fix my line. I would force them. I would raise holy hell and make sure they fix my copper line. If I could get DSL, but they were trying to push me into some wireless solution. Again, I've never heard of this. Do any of you have this thing, VoiceLink? Please, I want to hear from you. Does it work? I heard when it rains, it's not as good. Do you have outages? Please, I want to hear from you. I didn't even know this was a product. Moving on here, are you a Blade Runner fan? The Blade Runner sequel is officially titled Blade Runner 2049. So, this is very cool. Upcoming sequel to Ridley Scott's 1982 sci-fi classic. So, awesome. Blade Runner 2049 in theaters October 6, 2017. So, exciting time for Blade Runner fans. Apple said to unite cloud teams as it takes on Google and Amazon. Well, they better. You look what Amazon's doing. They're rocking. But Apple may be pushing its cloud service teams to cooperate a little more. So, again, putting them together. All right, I talked about DSLRs a little bit on the last show. And Sony today announced their A6500. This is one of the DSLRs that many people were pushing me to do if I decided to go do a DSLR video. And it's basically it's an amazing camera, amazing body price, amazing lens price too. But it has like a half a second focus capability. It's got some ludicrous 4K offerings at 960 frames per second. 4K plus 960 frames per second for slow motion videos. It's really a pretty impressive camera, and actually I know a lot of Canon people have moved off this. Now this is going to be about a $500 increase in price from the 6300, which was the body price is about $900, but it's added some stabilization and some other stuff. So this is going to be a nice upgrade for anyone considering picking the camera up. At the same time, they've talked about battery life and a few other things that have changed. They've made a touch screen on the back of it that now, before it was there was no touch screen. The only thing people wish is the screen would flip out, and it's not. But lots of good things said about this Sony A6500. Available in November. $1,400 for the body and about $600-700 per lens. Oculus, big announcement today that they'll soon be able to work with a much cheaper gaming PC. Typically now the systems have to be around $1,000. That's kind of the entry level for desktops. but they say that because they're changing up some of the way the framing is done, is that they are going to be able to use on computers costing as little as $500, and then they will actually probably run on laptops as well. And what they're going to be doing is the Oculus VR set is going to actually, when a frame is missed, it will inject it itself. That way, you don't see like this flicker or issues with the image. And a very interesting, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, but a judge in an appeals court has questioned if the life term is too harsh for the Silk Road founder. Of course, what they did is they said that 6 people died from drugs that were bought on Silk Road, but the Second U.S. Court of Appeals seemed concerned that the sentencing of this gentleman in May of 2015, or this criminal in May of 2015, may have relied too much on the government's characterization of those deaths, and wondered if a 30-year-old should actually be spending the rest of his life in prison. So this guy may end up with a reduced sentence. He sold a lot of drugs, went through Silk Road, and who knows what damage they did. But they're not necessarily convinced that was the right decision in the sentencing. Transistor size is an important part of improving computer technology. For years, a computer has been governed by Moore's law, which states the number of transistors in a semiconductor circuit doubles every 2 years. Current generation technology uses 14 nanometer scale, with 10 nanometer anticipated for release in 2018. But looking at the future here, a bunch of physicists have been able to come up with 1 nanometer transistors. So they're pretty excited about this. Now, whether or not they'll be able to do that in quantity is yet to be seen. But when silicon transistors smaller than 7 millimeter become so physically close together, electrons experience quantum tunneling. So instead of the intended logic gate operations, they're working on this problem pretty hard. But 1 nanometer transistors, which is pretty incredible. So any of you that were in Florida that headed out up North Carolina and so forth, they contraflowed the highways and made more lanes available. That instead of lanes going south, they made more lanes available going north. They contraflow here in Hawaii every day. Works out well. So that apparently that has helped the evacuations. Multi-year plan to make it happen. If anyone experienced that traffic, I'd love to hear how bad it was or if it was pretty smooth. So it's very cool. Hey, the FTC is also telling patent trolls, stop wasting our time. On Thursday, the FTC released a report on patent assertion entities that basically talk about companies that make money by acquiring patents and then cutting licensing deals and suing accusing infringers. According to a report dubbed the Patent Assertion Entity Activity and FTC Study. So there's 2 types of these folks, and they basically said a large percentage of them are just trolls. Very, very few are cases that are what they would consider probably a legitimate infringement. Also, the FCC's internet privacy proposal just got a little weaker. This should not be surprised. And a major shift in policy, FCC Commissioner Chairman Tom Wheeler eased back in his proposal for regulating privacy practices of internet service providers to keep in line with less restrictive approach of the FTC. He blamed a pushback from broadband providers for the shift. The FCC proposal may still end up imposing the strongest set of privacy regulations, but the rules came under fire when they were introduced in March. In other words, the internet service providers want to spy on us. And Wheeler's right. He says there are currently no rules in place outlining how ISPs may use and share their customers' personal information. They can collect whatever they want and sell whatever they want on us right now. Also, there was more stories out of the Oculus Connect 3 event. Zuckerberg took a VR selfie. There's going to be a new standalone headset in the works. There's a Oculus Touch, basically some hand controllers. Oculus will sell a $49 in-ear headphone. Oculus avatars will bring vaporware to the masses. and lots of games. There's going to be a Disney and Blade Runner VR stuff. Everything is going to be even better in 5 years. So it's still early days for VR. A former NSA hacker demos how Mac malware can spy on your webcam. Former NASA hacker and NASA employee Patrick Wardle has discovered that it's possible for Mac malware to piggyback off of an active Skype or FaceTime connection and effectively spy on both transmitted audio and video. While normal malware attempts to record private conversations surreptitiously can be thwarted by the green LED indicator light on the Mac, Wardle's strategy of recording information only when the cameras are in use and the aforementioned light already on skirts around the roadblock. And he demoed it. It was possible. So just be aware. Most Comcast customers now have a terabyte of home internet data cap. So that's good for those of you that are on Comcast network. It's called the Xfinity Terabyte Internet Data Usage Plan. The cap restricts the amount of data you consume in your home to 1 terabyte. If you have a plan more than $50 per month for your internet service, you are included in that cap. Okay, Woz has changed his mind, saying robots will never dominate us. Yeah, I don't know if I'm agree with Woz. Maybe not in my lifetime. But we could all be a bunch of lazy buggers from time to time. And if robots can do stuff that we do, we're going to let them do it. Maybe we'll just all get fatter. Who knows? But he doesn't think that robots will ever dominate us. Maybe not in our lifetimes, Woz, but I don't know. I don't know. Things can get weird down the road, especially if we start become digitally connected and our brains are hooked up to the net. All right, police have arrested hundreds of people allegedly involving an Iris phone scam. I think I've gotten like 20 of those calls. This is the Iris calling. This is your final warning. Don't talk to these people, but according to The Guardian, 200 Indian police officers raided 9 locations across one of India's largest cities. And a lot of people are in jail. And they're all trying to. And what's even more crazy is these IRS scam operations were raking in as much as $150,000 a day. Are we that gullible? I didn't think there was that many gullible people in America that would respond to the. First of all, folks, IRS doesn't call you. They send you a letter in the mail. And it's usually in an oversized envelope, and it will scare the crap out of you. Because you never know if they're just wanting to ask a question or if they want to pull you in with your bag full of receipts. Been through 2 audits where I've had to drag all my receipts into the IRS office. I don't want to do it. That's why I have a CPA. He can go. Reports out that Verizon wants $1 billion discount after Yahoo's privacy concerns. They're only going to get $4.8 billion to begin with. Now Verizon wants $1 billion off the price because of supposedly non-disclosure about the hack. Boy, the hits keep coming, yeah? Poor Yahoo stockholders. Facebook reportedly wants to give free internet to the United States as well. The social network is in talks with government officials and wireless carriers about free basic service in the U.S. Wow. So social media giant, again, wants to bring free service to the millions of people, even those in the rural America where don't have a lot of connection. So, if they're going to go overseas and do stuff, why don't they start at home? Good on them. Document reveals Stranger Things. Have you guys seen this series? I think I watched it in one afternoon, an evening. It really freaked out the Department of Energy. And the Freedom of Information Act has revealed some stuff about what they were talking about it internally. Pretty crazy. So were there smoke, fire? And apparently the DOE is absolutely helping support research into parallel worlds. Yes, you heard that correctly. The DOE is absolutely helping support research into parallel worlds. That's where taxpayer dollars are going, folks. Makes you go, huh, doesn't it? Or just a computer game. Yahoo, this broke this week, and I don't get it. Apparently, Yahoo let the NSA read your email before you even opened it. Yahoo is just revealed to be the first U.S. internet company to build a program at the request of U.S. intelligence service to search every single incoming message of every single user in real time. And I guess they were looking for certain kind of keywords. At least that's what the articles are saying. Communication giants Microsoft, Twitter, Google, Facebook, and Apple have all rushed out to put statements assuring users that they have not received or complied with similar directives, some going so far as to say if they had, they would have challenged it in court. Apple pointed to a recent statement by CEO Tim Cook, which reads, "I want to be absolutely clear that we have never worked with any government agency from any country to create a backdoor in any of our products or services. We also never allowed access to our servers and never will." Well, if he's got a FISA court order, he can lie. Not saying that he is, but he can lie, because he's forced to lie. He's on court ordered not to say anything. But anyway, how you feel there, Yahoo email users? Yahoo email's the worst. From trying to send emails, it never makes it to its destination. Okay, from the weird and weirder, coasttocoastam.com, there's a UFO video that stopped traffic in China. And I'll have it linked up in the show notes. Filmed this past April, but only now being seen outside of Asia. Incredible footage was captured by the dash cam of a car in the city of Zhengzhou. As the vehicle approaches the awestruck observers, a couple inside the car exclaim "Fei Deya," which is Chinese for UFO, according to Taiwan-based researcher Scott Waring. The man inside the car quickly exits and joins a growing throng of people who have also left their cars to record the amazing event. And I'm looking at the 43-second video. And, okay, let's start. And I'm looking at this, and it's just a little too far away. And it's, of course, hazy. Lots of people are standing out with their cell phones out. It's not like it's getting close. My UFO experience was close. All right. Anyway, this looks to be potentially a fake. Link will be up in the show notes, of course. So, looks completely staged. You can watch a washing line in England that got possessed. Link will be up in the show notes on that. Not like anyone could ever possibly shake a line. And also, Iraqi officials are claiming that their airport was once an ET base. They had a press release, and actually talked about a press conference, and actually talked about this. An opening of a new airport in Iraq, the country's Minister of Transportation claimed that the ancient aliens once used the same location for their spaceships. Do you remember that guy that was before the Iraq War? It was Saddam Hussein's spokesperson came out and he talked about how they were winning. And, he was the propaganda guy. I guess they found someone new to replace him. So, anyway, that's going to wrap our content up for tonight. Let me see what I have an email for you. And I did get an email from Cameraman Jack making a suggestion on some assistant help at CES. And Jack, I've already replied to that. I definitely appreciate it. What else? I got an email from Bill. He says, "Hey, Todd, you were saying the winners would get about $100,000. Well, they actually get 8 million kronars, which is worth just shy of $1 million. Oh, also want to let you know that I own a lot of tools from iFixit, and they are great. Hardly a day goes by that I do not use them to fix a computer here at school. The magnetic project mat was a real find, as when you take a laptop apart, there are so many small screws to keep track of." So he has a link up in the show notes on that. So thanks, Bill, for sending me the link and letting me know about the $1 million for the Nobel Prize. What else? Who else? Nate has emailed me. Just listened to episode 1150 of Geek News Central about possibly operating to help you at CES. Never made it CES, but would like to get there someday. I'm sure you find my skills, experience, and attention detail valuable. So, yeah, I'll definitely be contacting you, Nate. Let's see here. Where are you in Boston, or where are you at now? I'll email you anyway. I had a couple other people that have. Nate, you're from Boston. Duh, it says in your email. So I'll be reaching out to you along with a couple other folks. Also, I must apologize to a number of our Ohana. You were waiting for me the other night at 7 p.m. Honolulu Standard Time. I had put the time wrong in YouTube. We got started at 8, so my apologies for not being on time, all right? Okay, I think that's going to do me here, and we're a little long, but it's late here. Anyway, appreciate you tuning in. geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Don't forget about our GoDaddy offers at geeknewscenter.com/GoDaddy. Go check those offers out. It's been my pleasure to bring the show to you today. Again, geeknews@gmail.com is where you can email me. We'll see you back here for a road show on Monday, audio only. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha.